Oh wait, this is the Astral Future podcast. This is Tristin Wilson, and yeah, so we're gonna start off talking about this here, which is gonna come up in the future. So in the background, this is gonna change throughout all the episodes. So one day you'll be able to see it like complete. So just in the background like this, you'll one day see it. But yeah, dude, do you mind like explaining this thing to us? What this thing is gonna be?
Well, what it's going to house is a waterfall background for moss and small plants. We're going to plumb it to have water coming from the top.
Yeah.
And then design using all sorts walls that will have our waterfalls and moss growing from it.
Yeah. And then the nice thing as well is the background noise of this is going to be the waterfall one day.
Yeah, we're going to have a waterfall here in our studio.
Yeah, dude. And it's going to craft lacquer, dude.
Yeah, and like you said, with every podcast, it's going to be growing because we're not going to start it off just covered in moss. We're going to put patches here and there. Obviously, the hardscaping is still going to happen. So
when you start putting up some rocks and sticks and things to put it all together.
Yeah, and you're going to catch it all. Like with every episode that passes.
You just take snapshots of each one and you'll just check in the back. It's going to be a timeline of this thing growing, dude.
Yeah, no, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it completely covered. It's taken so long even just to get here. But once we work out the door situation, we'll be moving on that side. But
yeah, the door is going to still be a mission to try to figure out how to get a big door like that. We built this thing, but we can also make it just so it doesn't drop out the front, like you said, as well.
Yeah.
But we'll just make it stick to it more.
We'll come up with a solution plan.
Definitely, yeah.
But the hardscaping I'm excited for, because that's like the real bulk of it. That's where you get to make it look as close to natural as possible.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
I feel like it's going to change the whole feel of this place.
Yeah, dude. It's going to add a lot of life in here as well, which I like, dude, because a lot of it's like, as much as I like artwork and things like that, like, some life would be fucking rad. Like living things and like watching it grow as well and listening to it, dude.
Yeah. Once it's lit, you will also be highlighted and central, so.
Yeah. But I guess also for us, we must also maybe like add a little bit of like a background. Because you started liking plants when you were very young. Yeah. Reading random books and shit.
Yeah. Plants are rare.
So you started learning about them at a young age, dude. That's always been something you've like sort of been interested in. Even like all the time I've known you, you've always just spoken about that. And also a lot of marine things.
Yeah. Well, they coincide, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm just fascinated by how things grow. And this is just another thing. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's exciting.
It's going to be very, very rad when it's done.
No, I think I'm most excited for the plumbing because that'll add like the life to it where it's not just like a stagnant backdrop. It's going to actually have water flowing through it. You'll see like the little trickles. Yeah,
little trickles.
Yeah. No, I feel like it would be the perfect thing to completely round off the look.
Yeah. And it also makes the room look round.
Yeah, quite literally.
When you said that, I was like,
yeah.
I was watching on that last one that we did, dude. It's like,
it cuts it off perfect, even with just that little backboard.
Yeah. So it makes the room look very confusing. Which is nice, dude.
Yeah, it gives it a more open feel than it really is. Like it's 90 degree, but it doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
It feels pretty clean. It's nice.
So, like, you want to maybe break down a little bit of your past with plants?
Past with plants.
Past with plants.
Sure.
Not anything specific. Just like where you started learning about them and just.
Sure.
Like, did you start off with books? Or
not really just books. I think it was more when we started school. Like, got into biology quite easily. I just was fascinated with how things grow. So, like, plants became the main focus because they weren't animate. Like, they couldn't really like run away and like get away from it. Like, you could study it. You could see it growing from phase to phase.
No, fair enough.
It's not like you see a kitten and then the next day it's like a cat. Like,
you
watch this tree grow from like this little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I guess I do succulents as well, because they start off so small and their pattern unfolds way slower.
And also incredibly.
Yeah,
Like
especially
that's
the ones
for the
with
Nazis and
like
all sorts of
little
crazy things
spikes.
that are coming out. Yeah.
The spikes start from like such a close little node, and then they start like flaring out. Where
Yeah.
you couldn't even have imagined that shape just from seeing that original shape. It's beyond it.
Fuck
It's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I also love succulents, dude.
No,
Even those ones that you left here, checking them out as they grow, dude.
Yeah.
I don't take as much care. Like,
Yeah,
but
this-
they
this-
loose cannons, though,
wow.
dude. Those things grow, dude.
Mm.
And they just grow huge, dude. And keep on growing doubles, like of itself, on itself.
That's why I particularly like the ones that look small and dainty, because even when they get big, they still look like miniatures. They don't look like massive cacti. They're like these tiny little things that you can still like shape and mold. Like you can even bind them to a certain extent.
Well, some of them even just separate. You can be like, as one. Like, they don't die off as you separate them.
Yeah,
They're like
very
quite
good.
solid, yeah.
They propagate very easily. A lot of them just from their stems and pieces of them, you can cut them and regrow them.
Yeah, definitely. But you've also got the little ones at your house.
Some of them are just little because they've tried to push out small copies of themselves.
Yeah.
Then you just harvest them earlier and they stay pretty dainty.
I didn't even word that properly. I mean, like, the little, like, bowls, and not bowls, but little pots, dude. Like, the little pots with little succulents and things
like
inside.
individual dudes.
Yeah, like a whole bunch of plants, dude, that you keep at your house.
Yeah, I do have a whole bunch.
And also, what are those other ones? The 5 leaves?
The orchids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things also made up, dude.
Yeah, but they like reverse succulents. They're more rainforesty, high humidity.
Yeah, because you just have to spray it every once in a while.
Yeah.
You can't actually get it, like, solid.
The ones that are like embedded in a soil-like substrate, those you give water, but it's like once a week. But it's so humid inside that little container that that's what they stay alive on. It's more the humidity than the water.
Yeah.
And they're also real beautiful. You can get them to bloom multiple times a year. They're not really like cacti that wait for like the end of the year or like a winter time to maybe bloom. These guys, if you treat them right, like 3-4 times a year, you get flowers. And they're crazy, like bright colors.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Because I saw it once when you got them, when they flowered.
Yeah, the
And
ones
then after that, now I'm still waiting for the second round, dude.
Yeah.
Although you did save that one flower from that one, you just made the one.
Yeah, pushed out the one.
That one little flower, dude. But that thing was very rare, dude.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you, like, even that was an almost completely dead stem, and all I did was cut the end to the closest node, and it just pushed out another flower.
Yeah.
For free, mahalo. Just care.
That's the tricky thing about plants is like, you can just plant them, replant them. Like, once you get them going, there's actually a lot you can do. Like, once you know the basis.
It's endless. It comes down to how passionate are you about doing it. Like, if you take the time to propagate, if you take the time to learn how each thing grows, you can grow anything to its fullest extent.
Yeah, dude. Definitely. But also, like, just with my experience with veggies, even, like, it is quite weird when it just comes to, like, making seeds. Like, and also where a lot of these things come from.
It's cool to see it happen.
I had no idea.
It's not just a seed in a packet anymore that you throw in the ground. You watch this thing growing, like, wow, that's where the seed comes from.
And then you watch all these leaves come out of it, and you're like, where the fuck is this thing coming from?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, cauliflower.
Cauliflower. Wow, that's a crazy one as well.
It's just trippy, dude, because it's like just these little things that come out that look like spinach, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey.
Boom, cauliflower. It like plumps up.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Definitely, dude.
And how's the Granadilla?
Oh, dude, that thing's grafting.
Going
Check it there, dude.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's making vines everywhere, dude. I want to even make it vine so it makes like a arch.
Arch.
Yeah, dude, because it's going to look rad like that, dude.
It's a real cool feel to have it go over you and the fruits hang so you can see them, especially if the leaves will try face up. So all the fruits will just hang. If you have it too
I'm
lattice.
still waiting for it to fruit properly.
Oh, did you get one?
It made one,
One.
but I didn't shout.
Oh, was it looking a little small?
It was a little bit rough.
Like planting or keep.
I've kept it. I was going to plant it again. I don't know if I want to plant it here or like somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because that other one's already grafting, dude. I don't think I have to plant another one. Because that thing does spread, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't put another one just next to them. It'll probably suffocate it.
Yeah, dude. And then they'll
grow
start strangling each other.
crazy. Yeah, vines. Like the stems you can plant so far away, dude. But the vines.
Well, even now, dude, just on that fence where it's vining that I'm going to make it go out from, like, they start going and then they just spread. So they spread like
And
it's quite
regular.
It's not just like one single vine that goes across, it spreads very.
Ours suffocated the
branches.
whole side limb of itself to the point that side stem started to rot, and it rotted the main stem and it killed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just because it entwined itself
You can't
so
do
much.
that,
Yeah. So
but that's also if you plant too many things too close to each other, they start killing
it
each other.
was just we didn't maintain it well enough for it to keep producing. It strangled itself eventually.
Yeah.
So when we pruned it every year, there was still like dead bits around it that if you have to sit and take all of that off, you'll be there forever.
Yeah.
But it took like a good 5 to 6 years for it to get to that point before it killed itself. And by then we had already had new ones growing that we transplanted to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that one was from your plant,
Yeah.
Or the dad's plant.
We had 5.
Yeah.
So if they were going to stay there, we had 5 that were going. So we were going to put it on the other side of the house as well.
Mm.
And then eventually try to grow it up the wall.
But then it's also a lot. Like, unless you're willing to have vines everywhere, it's going to be a lot.
My dad didn't want to paint. So it was just going to become...
Yeah, it covers the gaps. Yeah,
I think he was going to do like a lattice of hydroponic tubes and then grow like veggies, because that side got sun, but there was no soil. So we were going to use the wall. So the only place it made sense.
Yeah.
Aside from the little veggie one.
There's plenty of other growing like on walls nowadays. Even at like shops and shit that you go to, dude, you can see like little bags on the wall, like stacked bags. Like,
up is just so convenient. Like,
we
watched a lot of videos of those vertical gardens in China.
Yeah.
Where they had like those cycling things. Like
even that Kimbal Musk one, dude, there was one with Elon Musk's brother, dude, or something.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And he was also doing it like eco farm, dude.
It's just such a unique thought, because if you harvest things upright, you save so much space that you wouldn't need on the ground.
Yeah.
But it only applies to certain crops, certain things you just...
But the thing is, you also need to pay attention to that. Have you seen that one desolate city in China? Well, not desolate or something, but there's one place where the oaks didn't actually plant the things, and like it started growing up in the building. Not plant, sorry, just look after it.
Oh, like the maintenance wasn't good.
Maintenance. So those things just started growing inside the houses, all over the balconies, hanging everywhere, and it just looks heavy. It's like overtaken everything.
See, what there I think is an opportunity for like people that are previously on the streets to be employed by the government to come prune bushes. Like, you don't have to be technologically advanced to be able to cut a fence.
Yeah.
It gives people.
Well, that's the thing is that you come off the
streets.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to prove your skills at that point.
Yeah, but it's a government job.
Yeah.
That's where I think all the things should be, like skills development should be headed by the government. Because it gets people off the streets, it gets people enabled, it gives you a skill to do something with your life.
But that's also like saying public schooling should be a thing like for everyone, but like not everyone gets access to school.
But that's also assuming that everyone pays the tax. Like, it's fair to say, if everyone got school for free, everyone should be paying tax. But we live in a country where like not the majority is paying tax, and we have a majority asking for free education.
Yeah.
So that infrastructure must be supported on the taxpayers and the government funding towards that, which all comes from tax.
Yeah.
So in like a country like Sweden, where the tax rate is super high, but everyone gets
everything's
taxed.
covered.
Everything's covered.
Hey, but that's worrying in South Africa. Do you think if you gave us more money, they'd use it responsibly?
You can imagine people not worrying about going to a government hospital. Imagine.
Fair enough.
And there's a lot of people now, especially after COVID, where that's the only option. You can't afford a medical aid anymore. So your only choice is a government hospital.
Yeah.
Where you're hoping you don't go in for like a casual arm operation and come out with like your fucking leg gone.
Yeah.
It's like there's been some crazy shit in South Africa.
It can happen quickly, dude.
We've got one or two like
just labeling, machines going off, ESCOM switching off
power
for 10 seconds. Like,
it doesn't help. Okay, maybe ESCOM switches the lights off and they've got a Jenny, but what if someone forgot to go buy the diesel, or there's a fucking diesel strike?
Yeah.
Or diesel
your
price
system has to
up and now they
reboot.
can't afford to buy.
Or your systems have to reboot during a crucial time or something like that. But I'm sure a lot of those things have batteries. But yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'm no doctor, but I can tell you that some crazy shit goes down in our public hospitals, and I'm fortunate enough to never have had to go to one.
Yeah.
But I'm also in a current predicament where I don't have a medical aid.
Yeah.
But should I be injured or physically disabled by something, that's my only choice. I have to rely on my government. Otherwise, the alternative is I'm putting my family and people that care for me in huge financial debt to try and pay for me to go to private care and attention that otherwise I would have been able to afford on a medical aid.
Yeah,
It's such a wild thing to even conceptualize.
it is, dude. Especially because like medical procedures and things like that are so expensive. Even
Yeah, man.
500 rand, go see a guy that tells you to go put some fucking shit on your arm. Like,
You got the sniffles
but he's a professional.
Yeah. But I mean, who else do you go to? But the
Yeah.
communal quack. Like, who do you go? You can't go to, like, back in the day where they had some Bombers and, like, tribesmen, people that were...
Like Shamans.
Shamans even.
Well, because there is still some Bombers and things plenty, dude.
Yeah, but then it's probably like one of those banana town, like, you see on a flyer sort of thing.
No. I'm pretty sure there is people who do it professionally, and then some people who just say
they might be like heritage, like that's what I mean.
Yeah,
that's like the casual use of the word. Yeah. So then I guess more shaman, I guess.
Yeah. So, no, but like it still exists as a thing. Like it's like traditional medicine or what homeopathics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even
something
if
that's against the conventional norm, where someone would be like, "That's a quack," but we're looking at a.
But you're looking at a guy who's selling shit in the tube that comes from who knows what. Like COVID was the first time that people started thinking about where these things started coming from, and then they were like,
and we're still
I just take these things,
trying to redefine what we understand. Like, we don't even currently know what is going on, and now we're trying to battle something that's happening to us as like mortals.
Yeah,
it's quite a weird thing, dude.
But also, life is a huge thing for humans. Like people will try anything to stay alive often.
Yeah, dude, I guess that's why medical aids and things have such a grip hold on society, because you can't afford to let that loved one go. And if you take out the loan to pay for them to have surgeries and things to stay alive, you're putting yourself in huge financial debt for possibly the rest of your life at the hopes that they stay alive. Because that person could still drop dead, dude. Then you left with
could leave hospital and end up in a car accident. Like, anything can happen.
You could survive the life-threatening surgery and come out alive, man. And like you said, hit by a car. Boom.
Like it's so random.
It's your time to just fly, man.
Well, yeah, that's why I think we all just get given a lifetime that's indefinite. Completely like there is no number that exists.
To go for some kind of surgery and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's so wild.
No, luckily mine has just been like appendix and wisdom, so it's nothing major.
Yeah, man. I think even like less mortal and even like physically disabling. Like your dad and his finger, my mom and her back, Martin and his leg. Like imagine being in a predicament where you're faced with the difference being either you're going to have loss of function or you get to keep using that thing the rest of your life. That's something you still got to live with. It's something you'll like every day be there with you.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing is some people can get used to it, but some people still have a rough time with it.
Some people do. Your dad said for a long time he could still feel the tip of his finger. Like that's a crazy. Do you imagine? Like,
ghost pains, dude.
Ghost pains.
Yeah.
Like, feeling something that you know used to be there, but it's not within you anymore.
Yeah.
It's not there. Like,
it's confusing, but they've even checked this out with leaves and things. I don't know how like proven this is, but I've watched some things where they have like a leaf and they run this one like energetic scan on it or something. I'm not sure what the machine is, but like you can cut the leaf and you can still see the shape of where the other things were within its structure for a few seconds before it like dies out or whatever that energy is. Like
no idea.
Yeah, no, that's a confusing one. I might have gotten into the back end of conspiracies or some shit. Not conspiracies, but like just some random shit of some guy showing me something and then like, I believe that.
too long in one of those black dodgy videos pop up and you're like, I'll listen to this guy.
Yeah. Hey, but that's how you get trapped, eh? I've been through many a conspiracy. Many.
It's easy to trap all in you. Yeah.
But then also like, who you trust when the news is fake.
Well, it's difficult.
And when a guy who's a literal president who was Donald Trump says, no, the news is fake, and you're like, okay. So this guy's just there doing his thing. They're saying it's fake.
Yeah.
They're trying to defend themselves not being fake, but proving themselves often to be fake.
And nothing that you could watch as evidence to support it won't not lead you to something else that might be either complete contradictory of, or just more bullshit. Like it's all designed like one big algorithm just to program you to being, I don't know, like ferocious against one or other of the sides.
Yeah.
It makes you like this.
But it's like
an animal do.
the propaganda that people get fed.
Just everyday bullshit that gets put out there that fuels the fire, makes someone.
But it is very one side for some reason.
It's a two-side system. It's easier to control like two different groups of people than like five.
Fair enough. So they all just separate into their squads. They're like, okay, I'm this party, I'm this party, I'm this party. We deal with these people, you deal with these people.
Same as our country. Whenever you ever seen like any of those smaller parties make it to like even provincial, they won't. You know why? Because there's too few people that even vote for them. That even if you voted for them, it doesn't get them on the board.
Exposure and understanding as well. Like let's say now during COVID, Cyril would have to deal with things like talking to all of the different provincial leaders to deal with a plan to do things. So we have international problems or this and that, where everyone has to comply with each other. And like actually listen to whoever's in power. Because then the thing is, when you get something like America, when one state's like, no, I'm not going to take part in that. Now the one, like what actual plan are you setting forward to get something like done?
I don't know. But
if they don't actually trust the leader.
Like America's too big to even have like one president. That's where you're very close to like a one world government, but it's like one huge landmass controlled by one guy. I mean, Texas is not bigger than South Africa.
I don't know. I've seen on Joe Rogan once they said that they could put everyone in Texas.
Jeez, dude.
Or something like that.
It's probably another rabbit hole thing, or maybe not, dude. But if even one of their
the whole population of America can fit in Texas or something.
I don't know, dude.
But like also that's huge. Like some of those states are bigger than South Africa, dude.
Yeah, but we've only got one guy running our show.
Yeah.
They've got one guy running their whole show. They just got 50-some states.
I don't believe one guy should be given that much power as well. It's a shit show. There's no. I don't think
pressure on anyone.
The thing is, I don't think that no one can like do it or try do it. Okay, try do it. I think is a better word. But the actual job role of what it is doesn't actually comply properly with society in the way it's evolved into what it is now. Maybe like fucking 50 years ago, 100 years ago, but now, no.
I think it's because
you can't control that many people.
Accumulated. That's the thing. I don't believe in a central form of accumulative power. I think anything should happen at the lowest of levels. That's where the decision should be made.
Or people on the ground.
People on the ground. I don't need to be calling the government to come fix the pothole in my road.
Or call them and they just come and sort of cover it.
Sort of cover it, and that's my tax money. They paid for that guy to come.
Although I will give them props for the highways. The highways have been proper. Like I feel safe on the highways.
You want to talk about the whole 2010 thing. We were supposed to have these roads finished, and 4 years after they weren't even. I mean, and then that brings up the whole Sanrail thing.
No, that's a whole rabbit hole I'm not going to talk about.
Roads are a shit show. South African roads are a shit show. But that's because power is centralized. You've got to call the one main man to come and fix it instead of having like competitors or locals in your community that are there to actively make the decision. Like, okay, we need to fix the potholes in our area. This is what we government funding for this month. We're fixing the potholes. Next month, okay, one or two of the lights are out. That's what we're doing. Plus, the kids' park, one or two of the swings and shit is broken. That's what we're fixing.
Yeah.
That's where the mentality should be.
That's the thing is, I've actually spoken to people about this before, and they say this is what causes striking and things like that as well, weirdly enough, is when people are somewhat forgotten. So let's say there is a president now, and then they have to deal with this problem, that problem, this problem. Yes, there is the parliament, yes, there is all the different, but they're not actually dealing with community problems, and those guys get forgotten.
They're not dealing with that crowd.
And then problems. When people are forgotten, they lose their shit and start going ham.
No,
to get attention, because what do you do when you don't? Like that's like I don't say it's a good idea, but I'm just saying that
what do you do?
Some folks are struggling
somewhere where power is completely central. Like all you can do is rebel. That's the only option you have. No one else
we get it a lot for housing here in this country. People fighting for housing, and then they'll go to one community that made the most noise or there, but like. We have done quite well with housing as well for being in Africa, like as a country, but we still probably could be doing better if there wasn't corruption as well. And population.
Population is a big thing.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm just still, I'm very for the whole, I should be making the decision. Well, not me, I just feel like I should have a say when it comes time to decide what are we going to be spending money on in our community. At any moment, it should be a communal decision.
Yeah.
We should get to decide so that we know it benefits everyone. Like,
Yeah.
one guy
The
visiting
thing is
from out of town doesn't need to have a say in what goes on in my community, but I'm sure he'll appreciate our roads not being fucked.
Yeah.
There you go, dude. I want to know that when that delivery truck bringing my food from wherever it's coming from across the way doesn't have to encounter potholes and shit along the way.
Yeah.
Therefore, we make
But
sure
then-
the roads are kept. Like in cars, bro.
But that also comes down to people and their ability
Who was
to agree
fixing
with each other.
Who was fixing the roads?
Because
in
how
cars,
often do
dude?
people disagree as well?
Dude, they disagreed in cars, but at the end, they fixed the road, dude. You know why he fixed the road? Because that's what was meant to happen.
Yeah.
He fucked up the road, but it was a metaphor. The roads were always fucked. He just had to see how fucked the roads were.
To try
So
fix
he
it.
had to break the road, and then he had to fix it. And the process of fixing it is always more difficult, dude, because you got to change your view.
Mm.
And that's what he did, dude. Over the course of the movie, he wore that oak down. He changed his entire mentality into fixing the road. He wasn't so worried about the potholes anymore. He was more worried about fixing the road.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Kids' movies.
Yeah, no, some of them are power and some of them are just weird. But also, as an animator, I know a lot of people have done this, so I don't know, like, who's the guy
becomes so
behind
powerful,
making
dude.
these, dude?
There's some guy with his wizardry and like
Yeah.
10 levels of depth into it.
Well, it's not one guy, it's gigantic teams
Teams.
for those kind of things, yeah. But yeah,
Shit, dude.
but yeah, as far as the like power thing goes, I definitely don't think it's a good idea for one person to have that power.
It's too much responsibility.
Like just to,
It's not right. It's not natural.
it's not natural. That's the
Nowhere
thing
is
is
there
like,
one great mass where like one thing is like, I am in
yeah.
charge.
Well, that's the thing is in tribal times it would make sense. Like at the beginning when they're talking about shamans or something, like one guy would sort of lead the
How
tribe.
big is your tribe? That's the thing.
That's the thing is when it's a
Multiple
couple really
tribes.
strong, how the fuck?
Nah,
Like,
there's no way.
yeah, dude.
By the time I say one thing to this guy and that word of mouth even gets to the oak at the end, in fact, it's not even the
Other
same message.
bullshit,
It's
yeah.
gone.
But then that's the thing is that's what kind of like. Oh, this other camera stopped. I'm turn that back on.
That was it. Wow.
But anyway, like another thing is fuck, we got kind of distracted from it. What were we saying?
Decentralized power, fixing the buildings.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
No, it's like a. Yeah, how do you actually get a community to agree with each other though? That's what the kind of a president was meant to be. Is you vote together for someone who'd speak on your behalf that you trusted.
He shouldn't be the decision
But
maker,
then-
he should be the mediator.
Yes.
That's it. It shouldn't
Yeah,
be the guy that stands
actually,
up and
yeah.
makes the decision. It should be the guy that presents all options so that everyone feels the decision is fair.
Or you can actually sit down with the people and then speak on behalf of the people.
We have the swings that are broken, we
Bullshit,
have the
yeah.
potholes, and we have the lights that are. Do you prefer that we fix the potholes now so that even in the dark you don't hit a pothole without the lights being on and your kids just stay away from the swings? Then we know there's no potholes. Cool. Then the next month we fix the lights. Now you can see where we've repaired the dinuses. And then the next month, for your kids to be able to go back to the park, bang, we're fixing the swings. Makes sense, dude.
Yeah.
And that logically to anyone, like you said, how often has it come down
But
to if you
that's-
sit and explain something
Yeah.
to someone, they understand.
Yeah.
But if you just give them like
Well,
a
that's
vague
like even like the explanation of Anarchy by Michael Mann. You watched it as well.
Yeah.
That was crazy, dude. Just to think of it like that, and you're just like,
Anarchy is that everyone
shit.
gets a say.
I used to think it was some satanic evil
Yeah.
thing just because of the word. But then
Yeah.
when you hear the way he explains it, it's actually, I'm not saying it's the most logical option, but it's like, it seems quite logical.
It seems logical because it's so far from the common norm. It's so far from this thing that we've just accepted as the way we're supposed to live. That you just wait for that guy to tell you what's happening, and then when you've got a problem, you got to call these people because you can't do anything about it. You got to wait for his people to come and help you, maybe because we're in one of those countries. We don't have people that just show up to help us. You're more likely to have a private security company
Yeah.
get there first,
Yeah.
and then you've got some guy partially trained with a firearm there to show up and defend your life. My man.
Yeah.
It's a wild world, bro.
But also, That's when it comes down to skill and training with all of those things. And the thing is, like,
bro, did you see that video I shared just the other day? The guys in the cash and transit van?
yeah, that was
Super calm.
madness.
How crazy was that?
Dude,
that
there's even a picture of him being that guy in the Matrix, dude.
Neo style.
No, not Neo, dude. What's that other guy? The guy in the suit always. He looks like the one guy in the suit.
Agent Smith.
Agent Smith.
Agent Smith.
Dude, go look at a picture of that. Dude. I saw a meme, dude.
He actually does look. I can remember.
I was like, this guy's a ninja, dude.
Oh, wow, dude.
But yeah, dude. Shout out to that guy for getting
Shout
out
out
of
to
that,
that
dude.
guy, dude. Staying alive.
Well, both of those guys, dude.
Having the nerve to sit that calm through that whole thing, man, and watching like where you're sitting, bullets just fly up against the glass.
It's crazy.
Wow, shit.
It's crazy. That's a level of skill that's like crazy to me, dude. Like focus to lock in despite all of that.
But I don't think everyone has that, and that's the problem. I feel like there's people that should be doing that, but then I feel like there's some people that are just doing that for money because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah. That's the thing is there's some people that are like inherently better with that sort of a skill or
I don't
stronger
feel like
or
our
better at
cops have
fighting.
that skill. And the cops that do have that skill, my man, they're not protecting you and me. They're out there protecting El Presidente. They're protecting the big cheese.
Oh, you mean the 50 cars that follow them around?
Yeah, there are probably just 50 drivers, bro. There's probably not even others in there. It's just some guy that they're like, hey, bro, you know what? There's a RS that I'm going to drive today. Check this out. No, it's ridiculous, dude. I'm just also very anti-police, and I don't believe in the conventional norm of the government.
Yeah.
So, like, even those things just, it doesn't make sense to me right from the get-go. Feels like something I was just dropped into. I didn't choose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's laugh in general.
You start a video game, you choose like easy or whatever, how many bots you want or what's going to go on. There's no
laugh and
intro
sport,
to laugh. Yeah, you just get dropped into something that someone 300 years ago chose, and then they're like, "This is how we do it."
Yeah.
What do you mean, dude?
But that's
And people don't want to change because they're locked into that program of, but this is what we got to be doing. That's the only reason we're still doing it.
the thing is we often all play the blame game for things that a lot of us weren't even there for.
Yeah, but don't you
And
think we
the
could
thing
be-
is, all of these tensions between these things, and also like inherent or not inherent, but like things we grew up with, like random stereotypes and this like that, like because of all of these things, it's slowed us down a lot.
I think despite every stereotype, you could, and I like to consider myself a mediator, you could talk to anyone and offer them the opportunity to pull out of this conventional normal lifestyle and become part of a lifestyle where you can still push for even the better construct of a human society, like what could we possibly achieve as humans, but in a good way, not like we've got to consume and the bullshit way, because we're thinking outside of the box, and still have a free society where there's a roof over everyone's head, chow for everyone, and the opportunity to become a better race. But there's people that are stuck.
Or like a human race, not just a.
Not just us, dude. Like,
Yeah.
there is definitely a means of us being able to cohabitate with everything that's
But
still on our planet,
Yeah,
but better.
that's the thing is, if we weren't so greedy, it is possible.
It's
Like-
like cumulative sum.
Like we've spoken about
Everyone
before.
wants more.
This is a little bit horrifying for like anyone listening, but like, well, it's not horrifying. It's just fucked up to think about. Like there is stockpiles of food being shopping malls and shops,
Tons.
tons and tons, but outside there's a guy starving.
100%.
That's fucked.
There's a guy sleeping in the begging for change, just trying to scrape by.
Yeah,
It's just the wild reality we live in.
very, dude.
And that's because,
And that's the
unfortunately,
thing.
that guy, he didn't choose it either. Like, he's living a whole other dimension of this current form of government. He's living in, no one even helps him. No one even pays attention to it.
Yeah.
So wild.
And the thing is also, like, people also, like, they don't know what to say to someone like that. So, like, often, like, when they drive past, they'll leave the window closed or something and just try and look because they don't actually know what to say.
What do you say to someone that's...
How do you help someone?
Yeah, how
like
do you
that?
help someone? I can't even help myself. And if you look
Yeah.
at it, like, his problems, although they might be more than yours, you're still facing these problems of looming debt. You got to pay the car off, you got to get to work, you've got to pay
Yeah.
the house, you've got to pay for kids' child, you got to get a kid through school.
That's the thing is,
Remember
people
that medical aid? That guy you still got to pay for, otherwise you go to
Yeah.
the government
That's
hospital, baby.
That's the thing is,
Like-
there's so much on people's plates that it's hard to even try to help someone else. It's not that they don't want to, it's just that they're just trying to get their own shit in the bag even. Like,
everyone's trying to get by, dude. But that's why I said, wouldn't you agree that given the opportunity, anyone will give up this lifestyle to be able to live a stress-free lifestyle where your only priorities of food and a house to fucking live in are covered? That's what everyone deserves, dude. Everyone deserves a place to stay. Everyone deserves good chow. Everyone deserves to be alive. Those are the basic necessities of life. Everything else, it should be a product of humanity flourishing. What's happening now is definitely not, dude. This is not flourishing. This is fucked. We're going backwards.
Yeah.
Actually, not even that's an insult on its own. I'd prefer we went backwards because it wouldn't be as crazy.
Yeah, primitive would actually be a better option than whatever this technological shit is.
I believe we went too far.
Yeah, I agree.
believe we overstepped the boundary where we just automated everything.
Yeah, it's the price of convenience, dude. That's also been explained many times.
Cumulative sum. I automated it so I don't have to pay employees. Now I make more money.
Yeah.
But now that guy's out of a job and he's still got to pay for chow. He's still got to pay for his medical aid. He's still got a kid to put through school.
And then also when it's something like we spoke about last time, like an extremely competitive society, where there's a lack of things for people to do, but like an abundance of skills even, or even lack of skills. It's hard for anyone to try to compete in that.
Yeah.
Like what you said last time,
It's more of a, you got to be a jack of all trades to be able to compete in the market today because everyone's doing a bit of everything. But we've also discussed previously, like being good at one thing in the past used to set you aside from just the random Joe. You could be good at little bits of everything and not be capable of much. But if you were the blacksmith, you were the blacksmith.
Yeah.
You weren't a builder, you weren't a farmer, you were that guy.
100 things to try to survive.
100 things to survive.
Yeah.
And I do believe that's where everything's headed. I don't think we'll be able to ever change that, but I think we should more or less redirect it. That we should look at more sustainable options of living and more sustainable options of food for people, not just like GMO mass-produced shit that's disease resistant, it's pest resistant because we're already spraying it with so much shit.
You want it to look nice on the shelf.
Chemical resistant.
Look, it looks good, but like that's the issue with aesthetics.
Well, even
aesthetics make something look real good when it's actually not that, because it's been changed so much to aesthetically please your eye. But you, instead of seeing the little bruising on the fruit or the little, you want to see
that's for the consumer-based lifestyle.
Yeah.
Swing full boomerang back to the guy that we said should be employed to cut back that shit in China or Taiwan or Tokyo or I forget, it was a little while ago. So now imagine those trees weren't just like creepers and weren't just moss. Imagine we now living in a society where we're planting fruit and vegetables. In city squares and things at robots, sidewalks.
Yeah.
Imagine those people had child, that there was not even less homelessness to begin with. Let's say there was less people dying of starvation.
Yeah.
Because you're on the streets doesn't mean you're going to starve. There's food everywhere. Then there's less things to worry about. You can focus more money on sheltering the population.
Yeah.
You've covered food by just putting it everywhere. And that's natural. It's going to grow.
Well, that's the thing, is also you must somehow figure out how to like restore biodiversity in that area as well, because I've heard as well that like straight farming of just things, like let's say you have a mealie field, it's actually bad for the environment. Unless you turn it properly and resoil it and actually go through the process.
Yeah, you have to go through a tedious process to re-nutrify
without having things feeding off each other.
Yeah, but that's why most farmers also turn their crops. It's not like mealies every year in the same field. You move your mealies. 1 year it's cows, they'll come pull everything out and manure goes back down.
But that's the thing, is you've got to actually take part. You've got to actually take part in that, and a lot of people are lazy.
But there's where we
so
get people doing that as jobs, dude.
Yeah.
Well, not as jobs, but as a means of having food on the table, as a means of having a table to sit at under a roof. I think these are very menial things that we should be giving to people as a product of their work, instead of just giving someone paper and hoping they survive.
Yeah.
Because that's crazy. It doesn't make sense.
That's hard to comprehend.
That's so wild, man.
The thing is also, like, I've heard some things about like Bitcoin or something as an option, besides the paper thing.
So then, how does that under the bridge get Bitcoin? How does he get out of this financial
besides
situation?
that, there's a whole other argument of, because it's so like unstable.
But so is money.
No, but money is extremely unstable as well. But apparently that's quite unstable. Like the way they explained it is, if you get a job for let's say $7,000 a month now, your $7,000 would pretty much cover sort of that basis, unless there's a crisis.
It would literally just be getting you by.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that much to get $7,000. Like, bills are quite fucking expensive.
Yeah.
But let's just say that as a random number. But your $7,000 value will still carry $7,000 somewhat. But with Bitcoin, it could go from $7,000 to 200 to 30,000. Like, they say it's way too irregular to give it to any of the population.
Certainly because you're still trading it or comparing it to a current form of currency.
Yeah.
Because there's an indifference between the two, it makes that a monetary value. So if you had to take it out of Bitcoin when it was worth more than it was, you'd be making more money, but you wouldn't have Bitcoin.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is also if you actually had a real system of counting money.
Yeah.
Like Bitcoin, where it's actually like that it would probably freak people out to know how unstable it actually is if there's not people getting involved. Like,
that's why I don't agree with it.
It's a shit show that breeds power.
It's a means of accumulating mass, and it's wrong. It's
not
right. We should all just have houses, shower.
Share.
Well, it takes, how much of a worry does it take off of your back to know that you've got a place to stay, you've got a shower, and then from there you can focus on things like being education. Imagine being a professional in your field. It leaves you with a whole day open to teaching people interested in what you do because you've got shower, you've got a roof over your head, you're living in a population where they want to better the race for the people. Like, you're not looking at bettering you for yourself to make ends meet. You've got ends meet today. Everyone's allowed.
Start working as a tribe.
There'll be better healthcare because people will be less sickly, just in general. There won't be unhealthy people. And those few that are suffering from like diseases and medical issues will have practitioners and things that are all well trained because we'll only have well trained.
Yeah. But also even something like COVID, like if you can, like that stressed the system a lot. But if the system wasn't stressed, let's say like a medical system,
yeah,
like there would be more people being capable of looking after people, but not specifically as that, but like it could be in any form.
Yeah, it's too many.
Because the thing is, there's still issues.
Too many variables to throw in. Because one could argue, even in this form of society, that kind of thing wouldn't even have broken out. You'd be living in a place where it was regular for people to be hygienic. Food was always kept clean. You weren't in a situation where, if it is correct, you had to eat the bat. Like, my man, I would feel it a lot better that everyone had chow on the table that was nutritious and healthy and didn't have to be some dirty bat for sustenance.
Yeah.
That could even be the tipping point for the virus to have kicked off. Whatever, dude.
Or the lab or whatever happened. But that's also a whole other thing.
Yeah, a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I do believe that with those bases covered, a better opportunity for humanity would be able to unfold. Because to continue this pattern is just, it's not going to happen. It's not viable. There's not enough to run this current course for very much longer without something catastrophic happening to a lot of people. And it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. No, we definitely have to sort ourselves out somehow. We can't just carry on doing the headlights. Like, at some point you have to be like, okay, this is a shit show.
Oh, maybe that's what this is, man. Maybe this is the opportunity. Maybe this is where anyone hears this and it becomes a better opportunity for them, for the people around them, for humanity.
Yeah. The thing is,
small as big scale as it gets.
Like, the thing is, personally for me, like, I sometimes have some harsh and erratic thinking. Like, it is rough, but it might be rough for someone to listen to, but I still think it is useful to assess these things.
It's also only a perspective, man. I'm not going to say I'm right at everything, but I can tell you from the things I've seen that there's a lot of things I agree with and disagree. But if you're willing to present an argument to me and you're willing to sit down and rationalize it,
have a conversation, not an argument. Yeah, have a conversation, not an argument.
I'm willing to. Maybe you've got a better reason for there to be lights and not get the potholes fixed. I want to hear it. You want to fix the lights because maybe the light that's out is in your driveway, so it's dodgy for your wife to come home in the dark. That makes fucking sense, bro. Yeah. So then let's fix few potholes this month and that guy's light. Yeah. Because it'll make a difference.
But that's the thing is, there's a lot of communication involved in that thing,
100%.
which we completely lack.
And when it's a community, that's what it becomes.
But it doesn't do the things.
This is the most separating device on earth. This keeps you as far from people.
It makes
as
you believe
possible.
you're with people.
We can be this distance and be a lifespan apart.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Just sitting there.
You can get lost in this thing in a heartbeat.
The gram even just sitting there.
Dude. The gram starts again, dude. It's too easy,
dude.
And it's an algorithm. It's too easy because it's linked you to things you like. So just keep showing you things that you want to see, dude. Yeah.
It's a trippy one, dude.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, man. I feel like with that as a narrative, like not necessarily the phone, being part of a community is probably the most wholesome feeling that we could experience. The problem is we won't, because it's not going to happen. I feel like it does, but it's not on a large enough scale.
It's very confusing for me to figure this one out as well, because I'm somewhat partially antisocial sometimes.
But I think that's
like I am social,
like
generally,
the dog from the wolf, man.
But if I'm dealing with
my
own shit, which I had to do at a point, like when I was in college, my last 2 years, I was literally like, no talking shit. I'm gonna talk shit. No talking shit.
So
then that's the thing is that's extremely
in a constructive environment.
Yeah, no, but I also just needed my space to think. So I stopped talking, and I also wanted to fucking pass my college. So I needed to just switch it all off. And then that's the thing is like, at that point there was some separation. Because it was art and things, I got to see people express themselves in many different ways. So without talking to them, which was actually quite unique. It was just like beautiful to see in a way. But like, even like that, because of the way I am, I'm not that social actually. So I don't actually know how to get involved with everyone in the community or my neighbors or.
But I don't feel like you should have to be the most the most socially involved person to still know your neighbors and be communal. You can be that guy that is just the recluse, but know that if I hear my neighbor's alarm go off, then I'm gonna be like looking over the wall to see what's going on. Or if my alarm goes off and I'm out of town, I can tell my neighbor, hey, listen, man, like I'm going out of town. If my alarm goes off, hope that maybe he does something about it or contacts me. Or man, I just feel like it's so blatant. It's so.
So it's more like being there for each other than actually having to communicate a whole bunch of things. It's just actually being there for each other.
Yeah, no, it's
helping each other solve
mass communication, dude.
Yeah, that's also one thing that I sometimes
was a mass solving of problems. Like, what is your problems? Can I help you solve it? And as a community, they came together to solve these problems.
Now you get one guy that's like, I'll take all of this. You guys,
we needed housing, so housing was developed. It was only when someone came along and said, "I'll buy the town." He came with that paper-backed money and said, "Cheers, boy, you all evicted. I'm buying the town." Sold it out to people that came and bought into it, and before you know it, man, you're paying for land that fucking no one owns. It's just dust. And
well, that's also an argument now. Like, who owns Mars, or who owns the moon? Now that we have,
does that mean that if we go up there, I gotta pay to own? I gotta pay to own a plant on Mars. I can't just show up on Mars and be like, "This is mine."
Yeah,
that's fine.
But that's the thing is, you can't just claim things. That's the confusing part as well.
But we've had that discussion where I don't think it should be a claim. Like, I'm willing to turn as much soil as it takes for me to get feasible food.
You're contributing to that piece of land.
I put the effort into getting my food out. That's not my land, but I've constructed this land to keep me and maybe my family alive. Like much like a bear would have its territory. It's not like the bear's like, "This is my land."
Well, that's also one thing we often forget is animals are also very territorial, right?
Yeah, it's not
natural.
And there's another thing. How unnatural is it to see anything that's just like stacked?
Yeah.
Like you see bees and shit, but they have mind. They all have one goal in mind. They're there for community.
Yeah.
Something happens, the whole hive reacts. It's not like Jeff over here is starving, we're just gonna leave him to die.
Yeah.
That happens everywhere. Yeah, people will die in the apartment above you. You only know the next day because it's fucking dripping through the roof.
Jesus. Hectic, because
you don't know. You don't know the guy. He walks past you every day on the stairs and you just don't see him for a week. Where is he?
True,
I don't know. I don't know where that guy is. I don't talk to him ever. Maybe he's on holiday. Who fucking cares? Maybe he was evicted. Fuck. I got my own shit to worry about.
Yeah.
Until that guy becomes liquid deep, dude, and just starts coming through the ground. Then it's your problem as well. But all you had to do was know the guy to be like, hey man, what's up?
But that's the thing is, how hard is it to keep tabs on everyone?
Nobody
No
said
one
you had
can
to-
do that.
No one said you had to keep
No, but that's the
tabs,
thing is,
dude.
it's not really keeping tabs. It's just to know, okay, that guy's out there.
I think it's only so hard
because he could
like you
disappear
said,
for a week and you wouldn't know. He could go on holiday.
territory.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not talking skyscrapers anymore.
Mm.
If you're talking about okay, I know that on that farm there's like 5 guys, like, if they need help, I'm like right over here on my farm. It shouldn't have been a case of vertical where there's like the complex we went to in Pretoria. There was like over 300 something units, man.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. How you go in there in a drunken haze? How do you ever find your house? Every floor looks the same. Every building looks the same, and there's 3 of them with like 6 rows of units.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But I know that here on my farm, like this is me. Here's my 5 family members. I know over there's 10 people. I know on that farm back there's like an old couple. Like you know who's
you just
around.
have to know a basis of what's
You
going on.
hear a
You don't have
gunshot
to
from
go
there,
too
you're
intense,
already
yeah.
panicking because it's 2 old people. And that's just like a casual, like a gunshot scenario. We're talking about a society where maybe that's not even a thing that happens. Everyone's got chow, everyone's got a place to stay. There's no need for crime and guns. That gun might be for a bear. So it's not a crime. Gunshot. Shit, maybe there's a bear over there. You and your family, you gotta go make sure like that bear is a threat to you, it's a threat to that family, it's a threat to those old people if someone doesn't get there.
But also, you're somewhat a threat to the bear's food source.
The human's not the food source.
Well, it could be. The bear could be hungry,
The
dog.
bear's got bear territory, man. There's also people territory.
Yeah.
Like that running wild in Alaska and the brown town.
Yeah.
Those guys do, that's their territory. And bears come and go through there. Bears take livestock. But that's why you gotta, like the bear has its territory, this is my homestead. This is where my family stays. You gotta look after that little thing to nourish you. That's your homestead, dude. That's what keeps you and your family alive.
Yeah.
And it's not like selfish to need that much to survive. If you think about it, like we buy chow, how much land is needed to grow that chow, to get that chow on our plates?
Uncomprehendable.
How much land is actually needed for one human to have chow for a year?
Uncomprehendable.
Not really.
There's probably ways you can work it out.
You could do
but to actually work that out will fuck your brain.
No, dude, not at all. And I'll go do the maths for you. I'll work it out. But I'm telling you, it's not that much. To support a small family, you really don't need that much land if you use it constructively. And I think that's what we lack. We've given up the opportunity to teach people these valuable skills that should you fall short of a modern technological society, you're doomed to the streets to starve.
Yeah.
It's messed up, man.
It is very fucked up.
There should be a plan B.
When the thing is like, 500 years ago, it's out in the fucking bushes.
Doing their things.
Shooting.
Yeah. You had to know
like
these
that
things.
was long before civilization got close to each other. Like there was cities and things come together, but there was some oaks so isolated they have no idea what's going on.
It was you and whoever you were with, man, or you were on your ace.
But that's also like humans trying to deal with a lot of pressure of being together. Because we are in a very strong population now, and it's not something we're used to, all being so even connected to each other with a cell phone, or knowing that everyone's there. Because of something like so many years ago.
I still think population is mostly a problem because we're pushing vertical. We're concentrating people where there's viable money sources, not where there's viable land sources.
Yeah.
There's land everywhere where we can be housing and feeding people at really low cost. The problem is those people want to earn money.
Yeah.
Those people want to drive fancy cars, live in a nice house. Not many people are okay with just having a roof over your head that you don't have to pay for, worry about paying for. Maybe it's yours to maintain, but you might have to, go get lumber to fix a roof or do some odd jobs to patch walls. Man, like
you watched that one thing of that oak that lived in that other forest for like 60 years or whatever, and he built his own house.
Oh, you told me about that. The guy that builds like all sorts of irregular stuff.
Yeah, like it's very weird and shaky, but also
it.
like it was also just him, his kids. Like I think he had like a crane or something like that was useful, but like they can still
machinery.
Like that's the thing is there is still things with uses. It's not like you have to go fucking play with a stick in the bush. Like there is still some things that are useful. But then you can argue like Rick and Morty, where the first problem is where the oak started playing with tools.
Not really, because you could argue again the communal sense. Like that's arguing that guy needed that tool for himself.
Mm.
The right tool in the right hand can build a house for everyone.
Yeah.
There you go, dude. Not everyone needed the same tool.
So it's just teaching people how to use the tools instead of just.
They can be communal tools. What if the government just paid for the tools and the people used them? Isn't that better? Knowing that your tax money was paying for feasible things, knowing that there wasn't ever going to be power cuts, water shortages, because there was the free.
But that's also like a promise that somewhat we can't make to each other. There's not a promised water source.
Power plant,
No, but in general, there's not a promised water source. Right?
There's not a promised water source, but there's a problem with how we currently use water.
Yeah.
We've got
definitely we're very
tons of people living in vertical towers that just shit and bath and shower and dude, do you know how much water gets used every single day? By times. You told people, oh, the bowl's full again. No one is taking 5-minute showers. My man, people are going ham. I'm telling you. The bowl is the highest it's been in 10 years. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Definitely, yeah. But also, like, how long is that going to last?
But we used to hinge on water crisis. It's not a case of how long is it going to last. It's that the mentality currently is it's full. So it's full until it isn't.
That's the thing is, I haven't brought that up with you, and then you explained this to me, and I was like, "Fuck, actually,
it's full until it isn't." Like only when it's not full,
yeah.
you're like, "Oh, okay, shit."
Like that's the thing is, I was amped that it was full, but when you explained it like that, I was like, "Oh, fuck, you're fucking around now."
It's only for as long as those people are taking those long showers. Dude. Yeah. And you'll see, here comes winter, so now it's not supposed to rain.
Yeah, winter, I'm already fucking chilly, dude. I'm shaking.
Yeah, but now because we're still going to be using water, but none's going to be falling. It's not supposed to. So we'll see by next spring whether or not we haven't taken a cut into this reserve, or how much of a cut we've taken, that if it doesn't rain for the next 6 months, are we going to have water?
But that's the thing is also with, I don't know if it's specifically global warming or what, but in general, I've seen throughout the last couple of years, the weather patterns change a lot. Like very regular. Like it never used to rain in winter.
We had rain last week and now it's mad cold.
Yeah.
That's not winter.
It's not normal. Also, it's like what, it snowed here twice when our parents were kids. It's already snowed here 3 times in our lifetime. Like all just, like, so the weather is definitely changing. Yeah.
That's all there.
So if we don't try to sort something out, it's gonna carry on fucking around. You always just be like Bill Gates and say we'll try what dumb the sun. Legitimately. That guy.
Imagine growing up in a world that's exactly like you know it, but slightly dimmer.
Yeah, no. Technically pollution does that.
Why do we need
like light pollution even, like you can't see the stars.
Arguably we should just put more shit in there until the sun's not a problem.
We're gonna probably try and make some money telling us some bullshit, I don't know. But yeah, dude.
Yeah.
The thing is, if everyone actually chose to try to do something, it wouldn't be as much of a problem.
That's where you'd have to get to the ground.
Yeah.
You'd have to be able to get to that person to tell them this thing. That's where I think this might maybe end up going. Maybe this could be the how's it going to phrase it? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yo, sorry, I distracted a little bit there, dude. Sorry, I had to go turn it back on, dude.
Fine,
but yeah. Also, we write some random things here we can go to if you want. Also, you wanted to talk about cremation earlier.
No, just that death thing that I saw. Just that it's so profound, man. Like, a lot of people are okay with the conventional just getting burnt in a box and scattered like ashes.
Well, not really burnt in a box, yeah. I just thought coffin when he said that. I was like, they're not burning people in coffins. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
but also like they put in a box afterwards.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. But that process is so taxing on the environment that maybe that's even a contributing factor. But the thing that I was watching had all sorts of other alternatives, and even one was like the mushroom suit. So they like inoculate a suit that they'll put on you with this mushroom that breaks you down. like turn you back into nutrients. So instead of like paying for even that, the coffin itself, there's a landmass. Obviously, that wood didn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
A tree sat somewhere, was cut down to make a casket.
Yeah.
Fuel was used to burn you, and you needed to become ash so that you could be cremated.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And this mushy suit shit, I don't know what it would cost, man. You wear so many clothes over the course of your life. One set of clothes ain't gonna have the extra, except this one turns you back into nutrients.
Yeah. You just go back and decompose back into the environment.
Yeah.
Dude, I was also keen on that. Like, also when some people ask me, I was like, just throw me out in the field and the forest will take me. but then in 2021, Oaks will be like, what the fuck? You can't just leave a body in the field.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's problematic.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's also.
But I've told you about that one that I dug, the vultures.
Yeah, that did sound very nasty.
Taken up to the mountains, they cut your most fleshy parts, the vultures that are seen as sacred, eat your meat, which is supposed to ascend your spirit, and they take your bones back down for burial. So they bury your bones, which will eventually degrade.
Because the bones is just bones. Like, they're not going to go away anytime quickly.
Well, they will eventually.
Yeah, eventually, but not quickly.
Like, dinosaur bones that we get are mostly preserved. It's not like it's just a bone that was in the ground. Most of those will break down. Bones break down underground, man.
Over time.
Yeah, over time.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. It's not like a gravestone.
The thing is,
cement.
Personally, I'd also find it more respectful to just be taken back as part of the earth. Where I came from, just put me back.
Yeah, but
like,
even if you look at a cemetery as what it is, dude, you're literally designating land to growing dead bodies, because you can't dig up a body to put a fresh one down. The land expanse simply grows. So you're growing a land mass of just dead bodies.
That is quite odd.
That's so crazy.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, we just keep land open. Like I know that there was like Indian burial grounds and things like in America. But that's where I believe where the bones were buried. It wasn't like, oh, we were keeping this spot for Jeff because he paid for it back on this date. That's why there's a stone here that says this is Jeff. I don't think that should have been the case. I think it should just be like, it is an ancient burial ground. Like the elephants will travel to bones. It's supposed to be a place where, okay, cool. We took the guy up to the hill, spirit did its thing, bones that came back here. That's where everyone's bones go, so we just keep putting them there, dude. Yeah. And you might find that that's probably the most full of nourishment place where there might be an exponential growth in the environment because it's getting all this extra nutrients.
Well, that's also a weird argument of the way we live now, and because animals aren't tracking over our land and not shitting on it, and every time we pick up our dog shit and this and that. Like, there are some people who put nutrients on their grass or whatever, but some people just pave their houses and things like that.
Things just aren't the same.
But there aren't actual nutrients going into the ground again.
Yeah.
And we are organic beings. We are part of that.
Stripping it from the ground. Every chow you have, that was stripped nutrients from the land, man. The land had to feed that before you could chow it.
Yeah. So it would be logical to go back and feed it again. Well, I don't know, Mars.
Dude, it's 100%.
Like, return the favor, dude. Like, shout out, dog.
I think that's the best results that we got in my dad's garden was going full organic, just turning everything back into the soil.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of help where we added some things for specific things to fruit properly. But other than that, all of the nutrients that we gave was straight from our ground. Everything got turned back into compost. It's crazy, man.
And just can carry on cycling and serving itself.
Or
future generations of itself. Like, some of that is
It is. So what it took out of the soil to grow that structure is now going to be broken down to grow that same structure all over again, but maybe in a different plant.
Yes.
And depending on which plant you chow, that's going to be a different part of you. But it's such a wild.
Yeah. But that's also a huge thing, like the you are what you eat thing.
100%.
Like, since I've changed my diet, I've honestly felt different to the way I was before. I don't think the way I was eating suited my way of being. Like, it made me feel sick. Well, not really made me feel sick, but there was a stage where I lost a lot of weight.
One could argue that the current diet of the average human is just not right.
Yeah.
That maybe we have passed the point of having a nutritious meal over just having food for comfort.
Yeah.
It's easy to go and get a burger because it tastes good. Costs like $30.
Well, not
Gives you
anymore, but yeah.
Oh, well, you're right. But, you know, gives you a full feeling for a little while.
Yeah.
It tastes great, dude. But then you wake up the next day, you're starving. So what do? You're either going to go buy more chow, or you're going to fucking make yourself a meal. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to spend time doing it? Do you want to use ingredients to make it, or you want to go just shoot a pretty quick burger?
Yeah. That's the thing.
Is
Is also I've like in the last year, I also started enjoying cooking more, like to be part of the meal.
Yeah, you were there. Like, you saw how that guy became part of your chow.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like, here's a thing on your plate. It's, I chopped that guy. He looks like that because I sat there.
Well, even some of the veggies I got from my garden, dude. So it was.
That's
like,
what I also used to do.
Yeah.
Do you ever see how they like peel carrots, but with like a weird peeler that makes like grooves?
No.
I'll show you some shit. Dude.
Oh, wait.
So they're like from the side of the carrot, even need like an indentation.
Yeah.
So when you chop it,
so it's like being chiseled in pieces.
Yeah, but when you chop it from the side now, it comes out looking like stars and shit, depending on where you put those grooves.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So in this vertex, you scrape it and then you chop it. Yeah, changes everything.
Okay.
So when you're cooking your chow, you're like, oh, check it out, like a little star, guys, because you sat and made that star.
Yeah. Fair enough, dude.
Yeah, that's why I used to look at like those.
I'm not that hectic into cutting that, dude. I just literally like, I'm like,
dude, change it. But there you go, dude. Like, some might come out all like fucked up and shit.
Yeah.
But, you know?
You get some wonky looking things, but it's
That's
chow,
dude.
dude.
That's why I remember when my mum used to make cookies. Like, at first, I never used to give a shit. I was in it for the dough. I didn't care about the cookies. They were going to get made regardless.
Dude, the dough is the best.
So
dude. I'll also destroy that shit, dude. I'll be licking the spoon before I even make any muffins, dude. Or biscuits or anything. Yeah.
But I never used to care how they were made. I just cared about the dough until I started making them. Then I sat and I made them perfect.
Yeah.
The ones that came out all cut, I had to eat. I made them for me. So when I saw it, I was like, yes, this guy. He doesn't look so great. You look at him twice and like, whoa.
Yeah, this could be a frisbee.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So that's where I started taking more time and like almost a pride. I was like, oh, cool. If I make him a little bit more of a ball and I squish him proper with the fork, he comes out looking better. But don't squish him all the way to the pan that he like bucks out and burns in the middle.
Yeah. But that's also like just taking it on yourself to present it the way you want to. Even like weirdly, like another angle of that could even be like uncomfortability of driving a car with someone else. Like, it's nice when you're driving the car, but when someone else is driving it, sometimes you're like,
you feel your brake foot touching that ground, boy.
Sitting there slamming the ground.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Jeez. Oh wait.
We made it through quite a bit actually.
Dude, we've covered a fuck ton.
In quite a long amount of time.
Anyone that want to look what this is? It's like literally that.
Literally that.
My handwriting is not the best. This was way better. But yeah. Definitely, we covered gang, dude.
Yeah, I think that's expensive.
It was actually very nice, dude. We actually went quite deep at some point, dude. Yo.
It'll be cool to reflect and look back on.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be quite wild to watch. Dude. Even that last one to watch again was a weird thing, eh?
It's a cool log of your own thoughts.
Yeah.
Regardless of someone listening to it, to go
back
and hear it yourself.
No, it's just a very odd experience, dude, because I never really got deep into the selfie thing or this thing or that thing, so I'm not often taking photos of myself or anything, so like, at first it was a little bit odd.
This is like what, looking at footage of just you, like when you're taking a photo of someone else, it's someone else. It's not
dude, like, I'm used to being a camera behind the camera, dude.
Not the subject.
Yeah, dude, it's an odd one to get into, dude. Honestly,
strange,
dude, it's very odd to navigate, dude. Because also public speaking is not my thing at all. Like,
not my thing.
Yeah.
That's why it's more comfortable this time, for sure.